Stop letting your thinking to become a slave to selfish desires. Marcus Aurelius stated that the bulk of people live like puppets, rarely considering the reason for their acts. As they continue to be dragged by society and their own unregulated impulses, they will face a dismal reality. However, the ancient Stoics were opposed to such stupidity. They realized that the beauty of our life is determined by the quality of our choices. We are responsible for making the finest possible decision, regardless of temptations, emotions, or other people's opinions, and they advocated the Stoic rule that if your choices are beautiful, you will be as well. In a world that frequently feels chained to never-ending cycles of pursuit and ownership, there is a way less traveled, a journey toward emancipation that invites the brave. It speaks of the strength found in letting go, the power of taking a step back to jump forward, and the profound calm that comes with doing so. This journey is not about giving up hopes or objectives, but about discovering a deeper kind of freedom that transcends external accomplishments and cultural expectations. It invites us to explore our spiritual fortitude, to build our inner sanctuaries, and to accept the ups and downs of life with grace and wisdom. We shall start on a transforming journey to discover the essence of true liberation, inspired by the eternal principles of an ancient philosophy that reveals the path to peace and self-mastery. In the immense stretches of human possibility, the power of the mind is the final frontier. It is the source of invention, a sanctuary of tranquility, and the battleground of our deepest conflicts. Despite its limitless potential, many of us find ourselves at battle with our own thoughts, entangled in a web of self-doubt, anxiety, and fear. In the tumultuous maelstrom of our brains, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism provides a beacon of clarity. It teaches us how to master, not just manage, the complexity of the human psyche. This journey through Stoicism is much than just an investigation of ancient knowledge. It's a call to action, an encouragement to unleash the untapped potential of our thoughts. Through the lens of Stoic principles, we will start on a transforming journey to recover the power, resilience, and tranquility that lie dormant inside us. Let us go on this journey together, uncovering the mysteries of the mind and realizing its limitless potential. Lesson 1. The essence of perception. Few threads in the enormous fabric of existence are more colorful and misunderstood than the art of perception. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, provides a timeless lesson that is highly relevant to the pursuit of freedom. The fundamental battleground where freedom is gained or lost is not in the outside world, but within our own minds. Aurelius reminds us that perception is the lens through which we see the tapestry of existence. It's a tool as pliable as clay but as potent as the most powerful sword. The Stoics recognized this and advocated for a metamorphosis within a retraining of our perceptual lens to see beyond the instant, the surface turmoil that life frequently portrays. This lesson does not dismiss the reality of external forces or problems. Rather, it is about understanding that our interpretation of these occurrences contains the key to either our chains or our liberation. By changing our vision, we gain control of our emotions, reactions, and, eventually, our sense of serenity. Walking away, according to the Stoics, is an act of mental emancipation rather than bodily withdrawal. To walk away is to liberate oneself from the tyranny of uncontrollable emotions, the constraints of cultural expectations, and the prison of one's own unregulated perspective. Aurelius' wisdom invites us to embark on a journey inside to the one sphere truly under our control, our brains. Mastering our views gives us the strength to confront life's stormy seasons calmly. This mastery is not the end, but rather the first step toward inner serenity, resilience, and a profound sense of liberation. By accepting the power of perception, we recognize that, while the world is constantly chaotic around us, the eye of the storm, the refuge of tranquility, is within us. As we delve deeper into the Stoic precepts offered by Aurelius and his fellows, we discover the blueprints for not only surviving but also thriving in the face of adversity. Walking away becomes a very empowering act, a proclamation of independence from external circumstances and a step toward the ultimate freedom, self-liberation. Lesson 2. Finding freedom by letting go of toxic relationships. Within the mosaic of human experience, relationships are one of the most powerful elements influencing our path. Stoicism, a philosophy based on the pursuit of inner tranquility and virtue, provides valuable insights about managing the difficulties of human relationships. Drawing on Marcus Aurelius' wisdom, we unearth a liberating lesson that is both challenging and transformative. The power of walking away from relationships that are impeding our growth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle applies to both external conditions and the interior dynamics of human relationships. To free yourself in this context is embracing the strength required to let go of toxic attachments and find freedom in the space they previously inhabited. Aurelius tells us that reasoning should lead our lives, encouraging us to utilize reason to determine the worth and health of our relationships. This discernment is not a call to judgment, but rather a drive to comprehend which relationships promote growth and which sap our life. Stoicism holds that relationships should be built on mutual respect, progress, and the pursuit of virtue. When a relationship becomes toxic, it not only disturbs our peace but also undermines our ability to live virtuously. Letting go of harmful relationships requires guts and self-respect. It is a declaration that we value ourselves enough to leave harmful situations. This process requires profound self-reflection to notice the indicators of poison, as well as the insight to know that some paths must diverge in order for us to progress. It is about realizing that letting go is a necessary step towards self-preservation and inner harmony. Walking out from a toxic relationship is a very liberating experience. It embodies the Stoic idea that we have the ability to control our reactions and emotions. By choosing to end a relationship that no longer benefits us, we are taking control of our emotional well-being and rerouting our path to a happier life. This independence is not immediate. It has its own set of obstacles, such as the grief of loss and the fear of loneliness. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us that these emotions are normal and that we can conquer them with endurance, knowledge, and the cultivation of inner virtues. The freedom acquired by letting go of unhealthy relationships demonstrates our resilience and capacity for growth. It creates space in our life for healthy connections that are consistent with our beliefs and objectives. Walking away from harmful relationships is an important lesson in the Stoic path to freedom. Marcus Aurelius tells us that we have power over our perceptions and behaviors, including interpersonal relations. We may traverse the intricacies of human relationships with wisdom and grace by employing Stoic principles such as logic, self-reflection, and virtue. Letting go is more than simply ending a relationship. It's about seizing the potential for personal growth and finding serenity in the independence of our emotional and moral terrain. As we continue to examine Stoicism's complex teachings, we discover that each lesson is a step closer to understanding that true freedom comes from inside, fostered via the choices we make and the relationships we choose to nurture or end. Lesson 3. The calmness of accepting what we cannot change. Stoicism provides a strong lesson in the art of acceptance for those seeking tranquility and independence. Drawing on Marcus Aurelius' ageless wisdom and the Stoic tradition, we find a call to acknowledge the limits of our power and accept the tranquility that comes with letting go. This lesson, which is fundamental to our journey toward liberation, teaches us that true freedom is found not in our ability to bend the universe to our will, but in our willingness to accept what we cannot change. Aurelius teaches us to discover a deep, empowering serenity in acceptance rather than resignation. The distinction between what we can and cannot control is central to Stoic philosophy. Our thoughts, actions, and responses are within our control, although the acts of others, the path of nature, and the events themselves are not. This realization does not weaken our agency, but rather clarifies it, directing our efforts toward the fertile ground of our attitudes and behaviors. To be free in this context means to abandon the pointless struggle against the unchangeable and redirect our efforts towards self-improvement and moral life. It is a practice of humility and wisdom that recognizes the immensity of the cosmos and our place within it. Accepting what we cannot alter frees us from the bonds of desire for control over the uncontrollable, opening our hearts to the peace of living in tune with the flow of life. Acceptance is a freeing action. It frees us from the burden of anxiety, frustration, and disappointment that comes with dealing with the unchangeable. This acceptance is not passive surrender, but rather an active engagement with reality as it is, with the intention of focusing on our internal terrain, where meaningful transformation can occur. This Stoic lesson of acceptance helps us to move away from the illusion of control over external events and toward the freedom of internal mastery. As a result, we discover a robust tranquility that is unaffected by global upheaval. Our emotional stability becomes founded in a thorough awareness of reality, allowing us to confront life's problems with grace and equanimity. The Stoic path to liberation is marked by the wisdom of acceptance. It helps us distinguish between the domains within our control and the wide expanse outside them. Learning to walk away from the latter allows us to experience a tremendous sort of freedom that comes from inside and is not dependent on external conditions. Marcus Aurelius' meditations serve as a compass for us to navigate this voyage. His teachings remind us that, while we cannot control the winds of fate, we can alter our sails and direct our inner world toward a future of peace and freedom. As we continue to examine Stoicism's profound principles, we realize that the skill of acceptance is more than just a coping method for life's obstacles. It is a fundamental pillar for a life of virtue and tranquility. Lesson 4. Accepting rationality as our guiding light. In the mosaic of Stoic principles, logic shines like a beacon, guiding us through the murk of existence with uncompromising clarity. Marcus Aurelius, an ancient sage, argued that reason is the foundation for a fulfilling existence. He urged us to use our intrinsic capacity for logical thought, carefully differentiating between what is virtuous, what is indifferent, and what is beyond our area of influence. This Stoic ideal calls us to a higher level of freedom, one based on the dominance of our inner world over the chaos of the outside world. According to Aurelius, rationality is a vivid, living process of dealing with the world rather than a cold, detached logic. It is the compass that guides us across life's perilous waters, separating the coasts of good from evil and avoiding the mirages that lead us wrong. This discerning path demands us to get a thorough awareness of our own nature as well as the natural rules that govern the cosmos. It is a call to direct our energy away from the maelstrom beyond our control and toward the quiet center inside, where reason reigns supreme. By choosing rationality as our guiding principle, we liberate ourselves from the vagaries of transient emotions and the upheaval of external events. This liberty is not an escape, but rather an elevation, a progress toward a state of being in which every action is filled with clarity and meaning. In this sphere, freedom is not the absence of restraints, but rather the existence of a guiding light that directs us toward wisdom and virtue. The Stoic embrace of logic demonstrates a great belief in the human spirit's ability to overcome its constraints. Aurelius' teachings encourage us to recover our autonomy by using our reason, challenging the world around us, and aligning our actions with the highest good. This alignment is not passive acceptance, but rather an active participation in life, a dedication to living in harmony with nature and reason. To be free in the framework of Stoicism means to move towards the light of rationality. It is to construct an inner fortress impregnable to the winds of fate and fortune, with the flames of wisdom illuminating the path to serenity. As we go deeper into Stoicism's teachings, we realize that the freedom we want is not a faraway fantasy, but a present reality that may be revealed via the power of our logical minds. In this light, rationality is more than a philosophical ideal. It is a practical weapon for emancipation, a means of carving out a space of peace in a turbulent world. Stoicism teaches us that being free means engaging with the world more deeply, guided by the steady hand of reason. Lesson 5. The transformational power of challenges. Stoicism has a contradictory truth. Obstacles are not hindrances, but rather opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius' life meditations provide us a lesson of tremendous resilience, demonstrating that the exact trials we typically seek to avoid are the crucibles in which our character is fashioned. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This profound phrase embodies the Stoic view to adversity as an opportunity to be embraced rather than a force to be feared. It calls us to a type of freedom achieved via conquering obstacles, defined by strength, patience, and an unbreakable spirit. Stoic philosophy encourages us to see obstacles through the prism of opportunity. Each problem presents an opportunity to cultivate virtues such as patience, discipline, and resilience. This attitude shifts the landscape of our lives from one strewn with challenges to one lush with opportunity. The difficulties we confront are no longer viewed as impediments to our growth, but rather as stepping stones toward personal development and inner calm. This rethinking of adversity necessitates a shift in perspective, a willingness to look past the present suffering and recognize the long-term rewards of persevering and conquering difficulties. It is a call to action, challenging us to actively connect with our challenges and discover the seeds of growth inside them. In this way, trials become not only bearable, but also valuable as part of the road to self-mastery and freedom. The Stoic view of problems as chances for progress leads to a more profound knowledge of freedom. This freedom is not the absence of difficulty, but rather the control over our reactions to it. It is a state of being in which we are no longer slaves to our circumstances, but rather architects of our own destiny. By tackling our obstacles with courage and conviction, we create an inner fortress, a citadel of strength and resilience that can withstand life's storms. This process of overcoming hardship is not a single task. Stoicism tells us that we are part of a bigger whole, linked to others by the fabric of mankind. Our hardships and achievements are shared, and by accepting our challenges, we help to build our community's collective strength and wisdom. This interconnectivity expands our freedom by reminding us that our personal development extends beyond the limitations of our individual life. The Stoic lesson on the transformational potential of trials provides a roadmap to a profoundly liberating and long-lasting form of freedom. It reminds us that the way to emancipation is not easy, but rather requires the courage and grace with which we face our challenges. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom encourages us to face life's challenges as allies in our pursuit of virtue and inner serenity. As we go deeper into Stoic philosophy, we discover that each lesson is a step toward reaching the full potential of our human spirit, guiding us to a freedom that is both hard-won and passionately valued. Lesson 6. The benefits of daily self-reflection. Stoicism offers the crucial practice of everyday self-reflection as a tool for achieving personal independence and inner serenity. Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher-emperor and Stoic, painstakingly documented his ideas, providing insight into the transformational power of reflection. He believed that knowing oneself was the first step in navigating life's challenges with knowledge and decency. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Aurelius muses, encouraging us to contemplate the weight of our acts, words, and ideas in the finite dance of existence. To liberate yourself in this setting entails withdrawing from the commotion of daily life and entering the silence of self-examination, which is where true emancipation begins. Daily self-reflection is analogous to holding up a mirror to one's soul and analyzing the reflections without judgment, but with a genuine desire to understand and grow. This practice invites us to analyze our intentions, examine our actions, and evaluate our progress toward a life of virtue. It's time to take a break from the exterior demands and distractions, reconnect with our inner selves, and realign our behaviors with our ideals. This introspective journey is about self-awareness and growth, not self-criticism. By reflecting on our days, choices, and reactions on a regular basis, we gain a better knowledge of who we are and who we want to be. This awareness enables us to make intentional decisions, learn from our mistakes, and appreciate our accomplishments, no matter how minor they are. The freedom obtained by everyday self-reflection is amazing. It frees us from the unconscious habits that frequently govern our lives, allowing us to live more intentionally and truthfully. This technique allows for self-generated freedom that is not dependent on external conditions. It provides us with the tools we need to face life's obstacles with purpose and equanimity, based on a clear grasp of our values and aspirations. Furthermore, self-reflection cultivates a sense of accountability and personal responsibility. It reminds us that, while we may not have complete control over our life, we do have the ability to manage our views, reactions, and desire to improve. This insight is the key to opening the door to inner freedom, breaking free from the constraints of an unexamined life, and entering the light of self-awareness and meaningful living. Marcus Aurelius' musings on daily self-reflection serve as a beacon for people striving to break free from the limitations of an unexamined existence. This Stoic practice is an invitation to look inward, to the only place where true freedom can be found within ourselves. As we continue to examine Stoicism's teachings, we realize that the path to freedom is about strengthening our connection with the world, armed with the wisdom gained from our thoughts. The discipline of regular self-examination teaches us to negotiate life with grace, resilience, and a deep sense of calm, embodying the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature and reason. Lesson 7. Embracing the present moment. Stoic philosophy, with its profound insights into human nature and the cosmos, teaches us the necessity of living in the now. Marcus Aurelius beautifully reminds us, "You could die right now, let that determine what you do, say, and think." This compelling thought serves as a foundation for comprehending the Stoic approach to freedom and fulfillment. In the context of this lesson, free yourself means breaking free from the constraints of past regrets and future fears and embracing the limitless potential of the now. The Stoics taught us that the past is unchangeable and the future is unpredictable. Dwelling on the past or the future is a recipe for dissatisfaction. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to direct our energy and attention on the present moment, which is the only sphere in which we can actually exert impact. This emphasis on the present is not passive acceptance, but rather an active engagement with life, a determination to make the most of every moment. Recognizing the impermanence of our existence as an invitation to live fully and virtuously, enjoying the present moment necessitates a dramatic shift of perspective. It takes us to break free from the mental habits that bind us to our past failures and future worries, allowing us to live life with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. This freedom from time's tyranny creates space for thankfulness, because in the present we find innumerable opportunities for joy and fulfillment that are sometimes neglected in our pursuit of what is beyond our reach. The Stoic practice of enjoying the present moment cultivates a type of freedom that is both intensely personal and universal. It frees us from the confines of temporal thinking, allowing us to fully appreciate life's riches. This style of life is distinguished by an appreciation for modest pleasures, a dedication to our responsibilities and relationships, and a peaceful acceptance of life's ebb and flow. Furthermore, by focusing our lives on the present, we build resilience to life's unavoidable adversities. The Stoic viewpoint tells us that hardship is less intimidating when approached one moment at a time. This method does not lessen the reality of suffering, but rather allows us to navigate it with grace, utilizing our virtues as a compass. Accepting the present moment provides a route to freedom that is both liberating and sustaining. Marcus Aurelius' reflections encourage us to break free from the temporal ties that bind us and instead embrace the broad freedom of the present moment. As we explore deeper into Stoic knowledge, we realize that the genuine essence of freedom is not found in the exterior circumstances of our existence, but in our internal attitude toward them. This lesson, like other Stoic lessons, is both theoretical and very practical. It pushes us to live each day and moment with intention and virtue, making the most of the limited time we have. In doing so, we discover that to be free is to step into the present moment, where the fullness of life awaits. Lesson 8. The tranquility of accepting impermanence. Stoicism, with its profound insights into human existence, teaches us the importance of accepting the impermanence of life. This ancient philosophy, through Marcus Aurelius' profound musings, leads us to consider the fleeting nature of all things. The universe is change, and our life is what our thoughts make it, he thinks, leading us to the revelation that freedom is found in accepting life's transient moments. In this Stoic perspective, free oneself is releasing ourselves from the grip of clinging to permanency in an ephemeral reality. The Stoic recognition of life's impermanence is not a call to nihilism or despair, but rather an invitation to embrace the present. It teaches us that our attachments to external successes, things, and even relationships can cause misery because they are all prone to change and decay. Instead, Stoicism advises us to discover inner stability and calm by focusing on our virtue and character, which are the true constants in the ever-changing fabric of life. This perspective enables us to overcome our fears about change and loss. Accepting impermanence allows us to surrender to the flow of life, accepting each moment with grace and thanks. This acceptance does not decrease our zest for life, but rather enhances it, allowing us to live fully conscious of the value of each moment. The freedom that comes with accepting impermanence is great. It frees us from the heavy chains of anticipation and the fear of inevitability, bringing us firmly into the realm of the now, where life actually unfolds. This emancipation enables us to interact with the world in a more open and real manner, free from the urge to protect or prolong. Furthermore, the Stoic practice of pondering on impermanence increases our resilience. When we grasp that change is inherent in the cosmos, we are better prepared to confront life's trials and losses. We learn to appreciate the fleeting beauty of life, such as the changing seasons, each bringing its own set of joys and sorrows that contribute to the development of our character. The serenity of accepting impermanence illuminates a route to freedom that goes through the heart of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, with his meditative wisdom, shows us that the path to freedom is one of deeper acceptance of life's intrinsic changeability. This lesson challenges us to let go of our illusions about permanence and find peace in the fleeting nature of existence. As we continue to explore the diverse landscape of Stoic thinking, we discover that each lesson contributes to a better grasp of the difficult balance between participating with the world and maintaining inner peace. Embracing impermanence does not imply detachment from life, but rather a greater involvement with it, free of the worries that bind us to the unchanging. In this freedom we discover tremendous calm and the ability to live joyfully, despite of life's shifting sands. Lesson 9. Cultivating inner strength with the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius presents the concept of the inner citadel in Stoic teachings, which is a stronghold within ourselves, where we can seek refuge and strength regardless of external conditions. This philosophical construct acts as a mental refuge where one's values and rationality reside, unaffected by the chaos of the outside world. In this lesson, free yourself means to retreat into this inner sanctum and discover freedom in the unwavering power of our character and principles. The inner citadel represents the core of Stoic resilience. It is based on the concept that, while we may not have control over the events that occur to us, we do have complete control over our responses. This insight is the foundation of inner power and genuine freedom. By strengthening this inner fortress, we gain mental and emotional resilience that protects us from the ups and downs of life. It is a place where our values and ideals guide us, giving us clarity and purpose even in the face of adversity. This inner strength is not about withdrawing from the world, but about dealing with it from a place of steadfast steadiness. It enables us to walk away from the distractions and interruptions that jeopardize our tranquility while anchoring us in our inner convictions. Building this inner citadel requires strict self-discipline and reflection. It needs us to reinforce our brains with Stoic ideas such as accepting what we cannot alter, focusing on our own activities, and practicing virtue. This mental architecture is developed by regular meditation, self-reflection, and the ongoing refinement of our values. Each act of resilience, every rational decision, strengthens our inner fortress. This process is ongoing, a lifelong quest for self-improvement and inner fortification. It requires patience and perseverance, acknowledging that building this inner sanctuary will take a lifetime. The lesson of the inner citadel provides great insight into the Stoic route to liberation. Marcus Aurelius' comments help us gain a better knowledge of inner power as the ultimate source of freedom. In this context, to free yourself means to strive for an indestructible inner refuge in which virtue and reason reign supreme. As we dive deeper into Stoic philosophy, we discover the skills needed to construct this inner fortress, learning that the path to inner freedom is about mastering our responses to the world rather than escaping it. The inner citadel is a tribute to the power of the human spirit, a beacon of resilience and calm in a world that is constantly changing. Lesson 10. The peacefulness of accepting fate. Amor Fati, or love of fate, is central to Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius frequently remarked on the significance of embracing life's challenges with equanimity and grace. Accept the things to which fate binds you, he suggests, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. To be free in this final lesson, embrace your fate totally and find peace in accepting life's unfolding circumstances. Amor Fati is more than just accepting one's fate, it's about enjoying it. This Stoic philosophy encourages us to accept all experiences, good or terrible, as vital components of our journey. By loving our fate, we harmonize with the natural order of the universe and find serenity in knowing that everything happens for a reason. This acceptance provides great liberation by freeing us from the misery caused by resistance and denial. It enables us to tackle life's obstacles with a sense of purpose and perseverance, knowing that every moment is an important part of the bigger picture. Accepting fate is a profound act of surrender, leading to a deeper involvement with life rather than inactivity. It entails letting up of the need to control every element of our lives and relying in the wisdom of the universe. This surrender does not imply giving up on our aims and desires, but rather accepting that the path to them may differ from what we imagined. It forces us to abandon the illusion of control and accept the reality of uncertainty. This acceptance reveals a tranquil strength, the capacity to traverse life's uncertain waters with elegance and confidence. The peace of accepting fate provides a last, liberating insight into the Stoic philosophy of life. Marcus Aurelius' teachings remind us that true freedom is found in the harmony of our inner will and the external universe. To be free is to walk towards a loving acceptance of fate, finding peace in the ebb and flow of life. As we come to the end of our study of Stoic lessons, we see that each one is a step toward a life of wisdom, virtue, and inner calm. Stoic philosophy illuminates the way to freedom as a path of continuous growth and acceptance, encouraging us to live fully and freely, in harmony with the nature of the universe and the depths of ourselves. Lesson 11. The power of virtue-based living. According to Stoic philosophy, virtue is the highest good and the road to a satisfying existence. Marcus Aurelius continuously emphasized the characteristics of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it, he advises, emphasizing the importance of aligning our acts and words with our greatest moral values. To be free through virtue entails living a life guided by ethical principles, unencumbered by cravings and other forces. The Stoics identify 4 cardinal qualities that serve as the basis for a moral life. 1. Wisdom. The ability to make reasoned and informed decisions in challenging situations. 2. Courage. The ability to face hardship and challenges with courage. 3. Justice. The dedication to fairness and the greater good. 4. Temperance. The exercise of self-control and moderation. Living by these characteristics promotes stability and resilience. This practice promotes a sense of inner serenity and independence, since our actions are guided by principles rather than fleeting emotions or cultural expectations. A good life necessitates intentional effort and practice. It involves 1. Self-awareness. Regularly reviewing our thoughts and behaviors to ensure they are consistent with our virtues. 2. Reflection. We are constantly learning from our experiences and working to enhance our moral character. 3. Consistency. Maintaining our ideals even in adverse situations. By committing to these habits, we lay the groundwork for an authentic and purposeful existence. Marcus Aurelius' teachings on virtue give a road to ultimate freedom. It motivates us to avoid activities that jeopardize our moral integrity and instead embrace actions that reflect our greatest ethical ideals. In doing so, we construct a life that is not only meaningful but also resilient to the challenges and changes that the outside world brings. Lesson 12. The art of letting go. Stoicism advises us to let go of attachments to external things and instead focus on what we can control. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours, says Marcus Aurelius. This idea invites us to let go of our ambitions and fears, and instead find freedom in acceptance and thankfulness. In Stoicism, detachment is defined as realizing the impermanence of outward things while focusing on our inward state. It involves 1. Recognizing impermanence. Recognizing that everything external possessions, prestige, relationships is susceptible to change and loss. 2. Focusing on the internal. We should focus our energy on cultivating our inner values and keeping our mental serenity. 3. Practicing gratitude. Appreciating what we have without clinging to it and being content in the current moment. This technique allows us to manage life with greater ease, since we are less impacted by external volatility and more grounded in our internal stability. Letting go provides a great sense of liberation. It permits us to 1. Reduce suffering. We reduce our emotional distress by letting go of our attachment to things over which we have no control. 2. Increase resilience. We grow more adaptive and capable of confronting life's obstacles calmly. 3. Cultivate inner peace. We have a greater sense of peace and serenity when we are not constantly seeking external affirmation and aspirations. Marcus Aurelius' teachings on letting go lead to a more liberated and peaceful existence. Walking away from attachments and embracing acceptance frees us from the limits of outward dependencies and reveals the actual meaning of inner calm. Lesson 13. The power of community and compassion. Stoicism promotes individual virtue and self-reliance, but it also acknowledges the value of community and compassion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth." To free yourself from this lesson, recognize that our well-being is interconnected with the well-being of others, and that compassion and cooperation are essential to a harmonious life. Stoicism defines community as the recognition of our social nature and obligation to others. This involves 1. Empathy, understanding and sharing the emotions of others. 2. Altruism, acting in the interests of others without expecting anything in return. 3. Collaboration, working together to achieve common aims and provide mutual assistance. These ideals enable us to form healthy, supportive relationships and make positive contributions to our communities. The compassion and collaboration are fostered through 1. Active listening, paying attention to others and comprehending their viewpoints. 2. Acts of kindness. Small acts of kindness can have a huge impact on the lives of others. 3. Supportive networks, establishing and maintaining connections that foster mutual support and encouragement. By cultivating these abilities, we can build a more connected and caring society. Stoicism's emphasis on community and compassion teaches us that true freedom requires us to interact with others. By embracing our social nature and dedicating to our community's well-being, we move away from isolation and self-centeredness, discovering freedom in our shared humanity and the strength that comes from mutual support. Marcus Aurelius' teachings provide a complete blueprint for gaining ultimate freedom through Stoicism. Each lesson understanding the nature of control, accepting impermanence, living by virtue, letting go, and cultivating community and compassion is a step toward a life of inner peace and resilience. According to Stoic ideas, freeing oneself entails developing a profound awareness of yourself and the universe, living in accordance with your greatest values, and finding strength and calm in the face of life's unavoidable changes. It is a voyage of continuous growth and self-improvement, guided by the Stoic philosophy. As we pursue this path, we realize that freedom is found inside ourselves in our ideas, acts, and the qualities we uphold. By embracing Stoic ideals, we can live a life of true freedom, marked by inner calm, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose.